Are you okay, David?
Ghostly apparitions, suicide and torture await the most haunted team in the United States of America. Hello and welcome to Most Haunted USA. Today's site stands on an ancient American Indian burial ground, but so too does a more recent dark history. Ghostly lights, poltergeists and strange apparitions. And that's why I've brought you to the infamous Whaley House. Situated on the historic Route 101 in San Diego, Whaley House is the oldest brick structure in Southern California. The Whaleys resided here for 95 years until the last remaining family member died in 1953. A museum since 1960, this building has also served the community as a Protestant church, city hall, theatre, public school and courtroom. But its checkered past has also witnessed suicides, fatal accidents, paternal grief, bitter rivalry and unfinished business. Famous American parapsychologist Hans Holzer said that the Whaley House may be the most haunted house in the States, and some have said possibly the world.
This place was actually built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley, who sailed from New York round Cape Horn here to San Diego. That is actually built on the site of the old gallows. A particularly nasty execution took place, that of a chap called James Robinson, Yankee Jim.
It is thought that the bungled hanging of Yankee Jim took place close to this spot before the house was built. So badly organised was this hanging that it took 1 whole hour for the poor man to slowly strangle to death. And ever since then, many people have experienced a choking sensation when they walk through this area.
Most people in those days were about 5'5", 5'6". He was over 6 foot tall. And when the cart was pulled away, his feet actually, or his toes, touched the ground.
4-year-old Marianne Reynolds, who was the great-granddaughter of Thomas Whaley, is thought to have eaten ant poison. She died soon afterwards. Many people have heard a child's cry in the dead of night, and many people have also experienced something holding their hand when they walk in this room. Many people have experienced strange things here in the courtroom. Unexplained cold spots, being touched by unseen hands, and an apparition of a figure walking across the floor.
Not quite 2 months ago, I was standing in the doorway over here, and I felt someone tug at my sleeve. I thought it was a guest wanting my attention. I turned and there was no one there.
It's also haunted by Thomas Whaley, who built the place. He had to pay for the courtroom to be furnished, and only 2 years later, the people that were establishing San Diego Newtown actually stormed the house while he was out and took away hundreds of documents. And for the rest of his life, Thomas Whaley fought to get recompense. I think that's one of the reasons why he haunts it. I think the other reason is the fact that this was his home, the place that he built, and the place that he loved. It's also haunted by his wife, Anna Louise Laney, who became Anna Louise Whaley. She died in the bedroom, which is now the theatre. There's the ghost of their daughter, Violet, who committed suicide here. She shot herself with her father's pistol.
My very first day here, back in November of 2000, I was working upstairs, and I was getting my very first tour. And back then, we actually had several porcelain dolls. And I was getting my very first tour, and one doll began to open and close her eyes. A week after that happened, I went into that same room and I picked up the doll, and her eyes were just painted on.
So all in all, we've got a hotbed of hauntings here. This is reputedly one of the most haunted properties in the whole of the United States. And I'm extremely excited, as is Ciaran, as to what might happen to us during our vigils tonight.
Parapsychologist Ciaran has joined us at our stateside location in what he sees as a potentially thrilling investigation.
So how are you going to feel about tonight?
This is a fantastic place. It has a florid past, both in terms of historical records, but also a paranormal history. And that means lots of eyewitness testimony, investigations. It's going to be a great place for the Most Haunted team to conduct their investigation.
Now, because this place is so famous, how do we know that some of the stories, the ghost sightings, haven't been embellished throughout the years?
It's a difficulty with any haunted location to try and establish the truth, to see if the eyewitness testimonies haven't, like you say, been embellished over the years or even been informed by the history, or people just walking around and picking up cues from the furniture, from photos, from information that's readily available. What we have to do is try and look at corresponding testimonies. So are there particular experiences that are repeated over the years that we have independent eyewitness reports from, people that don't know each other but they have the same experiences? And we do have some of those testimonies.
Now, there's a lot of phenomena that occurs in this house, and one in particular fascinates me, I don't know how you feel, which is the sort of, apparently many people feel a choking sensation when they walk past where supposedly somebody was hanged. Is that something that, I imagine, intrigues you?
It intrigues me because it's objective phenomena that we can verify. So if anybody experiences that tonight, certainly with the red marks, we can objectively take photographs and report it as genuine phenomena. It also means that we have a particular location, a particular place in the house where we can focus an investigation, do a vigil, set up locked off cameras, have people walking through, for example. It's a great piece of genuine phenomena that we can follow up on.
And is there one particular area that you think the crew would be a little bit more apprehensive at going into a particular room or area?
There are two particular areas for me. The parlour room, which supposedly has an association with gallows that were once here, and also the theatre, so the upstairs floor, which has an association with Whaley. And I think both of those locations would be great to conduct vigils.
And of course we've got great weather conditions. It's stormy, it's rainy again. Supposedly these are supposed to be the right conditions for paranormal activity, and according to David Wells, it's a full moon tonight, which is really good.
So the weather and the environment is on our side.
Yeah, let's hope that we get some stuff.
Definitely.
This historic building with its solemn and disturbing past had a lot to offer the Most Haunted team, and we were particularly interested to see if we would hear more of Yankee Jim, for it's his spirit that is thought to cause so much poltergeist activity here. So, having arrived separately in San Diego and with no prior knowledge of the location, our regular mediums Derek Okora and David Wells could begin their walkarounds, and we could delve into the afterlife at Whaley House.
And just as we come into this area, and I'll just point out to you here, a spirit man, quite a robust man, rather stockily built, and it's like him staring at us, and then suddenly the disappearance and dispersing. And I feel he most definitely he's another that is here. I feel in actual fact that he's not grounded, he comes in visitation, but he's worked here, he's been part of this. This connection of this home, but because he was standing there and the way he was dressed, it gave me the impression he was definitely, selling of things.
Right.
And he very strongly here. I got facial hair with him, moustache.